We're back at our latest fault find, and this time it's a garden supply cable that keeps tripping intermittently. So we've got ourselves set up and steamed straight into it. First thing is to always have a little chat with the customer, find out what's been going on, and then have a look around ourselves. This was for a shed supply, so there was a small consume unit and a socket doing an irrigation system in the shed at the bottom of the garden, fed directly from a consume unit in the house. So at this point it was currently on. We just wanted to check the voltages, make sure there was an earth there, do a ZS and confirm all those bits. Next thing is to turn off all the breakers, both ends, disconnect everything and make sure we're purely dealing with the cable in question and start doing some insulation tests. At this point everything was coming up clear except a dead short between live and earth. But when it was tripping it wasn't blowing. So the next thing was to start looking around for connections just in case there was any junctions down the garden, and one of the boxes on the back of the house is where the internal cable meets the external armoured. After a good thorough search that's all we could see though in terms of joints and junctions. Visually nothing looked damaged, it didn't look amazing but nothing looked damaged specifically, and we couldn't see anything touching down to anywhere, but every time I tested between live and earth I was getting a dead short. However, when I took the earths all out the bar and the board in the shed, I actually established that it was down to the earth sheathing and not the earth core itself that the problem lied. I split the cable at that junction and the internal part of the cabling was fine, so it was definitely to do with the SWA and the sheathing. With this type of reading, and given that the cable is buried underground in a garden with quite a few large trees definitely passing by, indicates that it's probably being slightly squeezed by root growth. And unfortunately, short of digging up the entire garden, we'd never actually get to the point where we found the point where it's being squeezed. But we can't keep the cable in situ, as we can't have an armoured cable where we can't earth the sheath. So the next thing was to put a plan together of how to get a new SWA from the external box on the back of the house over to the shed location and get it all resupplied again. Thankfully we've got a couple of options of being able to go up and over this roof area and down the hedge line, as there's a wall behind there. We're also going to swap out the RCBO because for some reason currently it's on a 45 amp, which seems really unnecessary for the cable size. Stay tuned for the part 2 on this one, so hopefully we can get it fixed and back up and running again.